Hello, beautiful listeners of Agape FM. It's me again, Nicole, your girl Nikki, as you know me. Okay, yes, it's exactly 1 p.m. on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon, and once again, I'm joined by such an amazing, strong woman, beautiful woman that is sitting in front of me. We speak to movers, we speak to shakers, and we speak to entrepreneurs and influencers of the business industry. And yet again today I'm joined by amazing businesswoman, someone who's not was not scared to step out of that comfort zone. And today I'm joined by Penelope Camons of P9 Financial Intelligence Services. Yeah. So she is here today with us, and we welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Nicole. It's an honor to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
Yes, thank you very much for gracing us with your presence. I know you are a bit nervous, but we just
Yes,
gonna have a
just a little bit.
conversation and yeah, just have a nice conversation. And it's about you. It's all about you. The spotlight is on you, and you can have your moment. Today is your moment. So I'm just gonna go through your bio and share your bio with the listeners and the viewers. Okay. So Penelope Camons was born in 1966 in a large and loving family. She grew up and was schooled in Uitenhage, where she left Matric from Riebeek College in 1983. She worked at VW in Uitenhage, where she cut her teeth and realized that her strength laid in numbers and accounting, paying attention to detail and critical information. She decided to move to Johannesburg in 1989, where she was appointed to the position of personal assistant to a financial director. This is where she really came into her own and realized that that part was a passion and a dream. Then she spent the next 30 years in a financial role of some form and or the other until relocating to Port Elizabeth part-time in 2011 to be back with her family whilst commuting for 10 years between two homes, being Johannesburg and Port Elizabeth, spending 2 weeks a month in each city. In November 2019, she decided to resign from a prominent position from her company in Johannesburg after nearly 15 years as financial manager rather, to pursue her dream of having her own company and being back in her hometown, where she would be able to positively impact the economy in her own hometown and the place that she holds dear. She started her new journey and led to the birth of P9 Financial Intelligence in March 2020. Not ever expecting to embark on this decision at the worst time ever due to the COVID-19 and the many difficulties that came with this awful time in history. P9 Financial Intelligence was established with the vision of providing clients with the necessary financial information and guidance required and enabling them to build a successful business. Her greater objective and dream are to assist small and medium enterprises in a way that will positively impact South Africa's economy. Her target market is established businesses as well as clients in startup phase. P9 Financial Intelligence provides professional, perfect, and precise services, offering a first-class experience at economy class prices. They provide a full suite of financial management, accounting, bookkeeping, payroll, HR, tax, stationery services, company registrations, amendments, secretarial, as along with many other associated services to all geographical areas. Wow,
Quite a mouthful.
quite a mouthful. I think I need a bit of your water.
Shame,
Wow.
Nicole.
Well, ma'am.
I
Yes.
hope I do as well as you.
Oh, ma'am, so can you just give us a bit of background into your journey of accounting?
Okay, so it started out when I left school and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I took my first job where I worked in North End at Matric as a salesperson selling carpeting to wholesalers. And not long after that, my father took very ill at a very young age with cancer, and my parents had to go to Cape Town and I was left alone at home. I was bored and I decided I was going to do a bookkeeping course, which I did at night time with a very lovely lady who was quite a well-known accountant at the time, who sadly is no longer alive, and that was Mrs. Moffat, and she had Moffat's bookkeeping school. My mother's immediate reaction was, well, you hated accountancy at school. Why would you want to do a bookkeeping diploma? And I said, well, I'm bored and I'm going to do something and see how it goes. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I did so well. And I came to realize that I hated accountancy at school, not because I didn't like the numbers. I didn't like the teacher who was teaching the accountancy. And I try and share that with so many young people who make a life-forming decision on something that they don't like, whereas it may not be the case. It may be how they've learnt it. And I say, try it again. So I aced this bookkeeping diploma and I thought, I love this. And that's when I realized I actually have a flair for numbers. I have that passion. I enjoy the problem-solving aspect of it. I enjoy being in control of my own workload. And it's so lovely when everything balances at the end. It's just so rewarding and so achieving. So that's how I got into it. Then in later years, after many years of working and being employed, I realized there's actually a gap in the market. There's a lot of SMEs and new businesses, entrepreneurs, even individuals that are working as sole proprietors that have a need to fulfill on their financial responsibilities according with regulations that are set out in the laws, and they don't because they can't afford it. They can't afford to pay the rates that the bigger accounting auditing firms are charging. And I thought, well, this is quite sad because at the end of the day, the directors are being delinquent by not fulfilling their responsibilities. And I thought, well, there's a target market for me. So when I decided to launch or birth my business, I specifically made a conscious decision to focus on SMEs, where I could provide a top-class service that was affordable to them, a service they previously couldn't afford, and enable them to then become compliant within the law and run a successful business. So that's where it all started for me, Nicole.
Wow. So 10 years, you've been back and fro from Johannesburg to Port Elizabeth, and we just spoke now, and you said how it was so tiring for you, traveling the whole time. And so how did you eventually decide to, what, I'm done now, I'm done with this, I'm gonna start my own business, and that day where you decided, like, enough is enough, I've had enough, so can you just tell us how that, that moment where you're like, I'm done, I've had enough of this?
Nicole, as we briefly chatted when I arrived, I think the big thing was for me that the commuting and the traveling, first of all, it was taking its toll on my health. I was permanently ill and I just never ever had enough time to recover because I was here, there and everywhere. Secondly, I realized it had quite a significant impact on my personal life. So really my decisions were mainly personal. I missed weddings, I missed funerals, I missed birthdays, I missed engagement parties. All of these things seemed to happen while I was in Joburg. They never ever happened while I was in PE. And I had no option but to miss them. And I started realizing there's more to life. And as you get older, I think you start to appreciate the value of the time you have left and family. And you get to an age where you think, well, I've got less to live than what I've lived. So I need to make this count. And you then start making very different decisions that you make when you're 20 or 30, knowing you've got a broad spectrum of time ahead of you. So that's really what drove me to make the decision. It was personal and for my sanity. And as I mentioned, my sister one day just said to me, you got to make a decision, because you're either going to have a heart attack or stroke.
Sure.
Because I've seen you go down in the past 2 years health-wise, and you just can't carry on. And it's not an easy decision to make. You're choosing to cut out something where you were somebody and something and you are absolutely being catapulted out of your comfort zone. It's really not an easy decision. But there comes a time where you've got to weigh up what is more important in your life. And I just got to the point where I needed to do that.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked back. I haven't regretted it. Financially, maybe. But as far as being back home, I haven't regretted that decision.
Yeah. And people always say that family is the most important, because all these things can fall away, but family, is what you can fall back on. So that is like important, and I can just, we spoke, and your heart for your family, your heart for people in general, so I can just sense that love that you have for your family.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I believe that stepping out of that comfort zone into one of the most challenging, things that I believe that it's one of the most challenging things that you've ever done in your life. Can you just tell me how that was for you, especially in COVID, because you stepped into that business while COVID, just on the brink of COVID. Can you just tell the listeners and the viewers how that experience was for you, that challenging? I believe that it was challenging for you.
Nicole, absolutely. And, although I'd started my business in 2018, but was assisting clients or companies on a part-time basis, when I left my full-time employment at the end of November 2019, I decided to take December and January off, because I really needed a 2-month holiday after 15 years. And February, I started really putting things into action. And from the 1st of March, I opened the doors. And on the 27th of March, bright and early, my doors were closed again.
Sure.
And I thought, what now? It was trying times. It was stressful. And trust me, I had planned. I was meticulous around my planning. I planned for 2 years. I did everything right.
Sure.
But I nearly didn't survive, because I did not plan and expect the unexpected. So when you plan to start your own business, people always say, make sure you've got money to survive for at least 12 months. And I'm saying, no, darling, that doesn't work anymore. It doesn't.
Sure.
18 to 24 months is what I am recommending to anybody wanting to embark on a similar journey. You need to be able to bankroll yourself for 18 to 24 months. So COVID was the first thing, and hard lockdown. It was a killer, and it was a killer for well-established businesses. I mean, if you look at somebody that's in your area to where the station is, the Phoenix Hotel, who would ever have thought that after years and years, something like that would close its doors? And there were many companies that had been well established, let alone a company that was only open for 26 days,
Sure.
But grace be to God, I survived. And even through lockdown, I started picking up 1 or 2 little clients. And it's slowly grown, and it's slowly ticked over. But I have to also mention that in a service industry where you start a business and you're not selling a product, you're selling consulting hours, be mindful, because your time is money. And now we are embarking on this whole thing of load shedding. And I think people underestimate what 4 hours out of your day of no electricity does when you earn your living sitting in front of a computer working. So there's a lot of challenges.
Sure.
And just, be prepared for the unexpected. Regardless of how well you've planned, there's going to be curveballs, but don't ever lose faith.
I'm thinking now, we should plan for the unplanned.
Correct.
Yeah, because we only
Absolutely.
plan for, you only see your vision, and you're not planning for
Yes.
what might happen.
Did
Sure.
I ever think anything like COVID would happen in the month I opened my business? No, I don't think anybody in the world foresaw that coming. Or maybe there were a few people, we're just not going to know the truth, are we? But no, so yes, make sure you are ready for any unexpected surprises.
Sure.
And some of them can be nasty.
Sure.
But don't give up. Get up tomorrow and continue and continue and continue.
Okay, let's get to your company. Let's get to your business, and can you just tell us why? What's the meaning of F9
P9.
or P9?
Yes.
Sorry, P9.
Okay. So, and when we started our company name, I think was one of the biggest challenges I had. What do you call yourself, and who are you? And luckily, I had the assistance of a very close and dear friend in Johannesburg who was assisting me from a marketing perspective. And I then came across P9, being the number 9, being the universal number of perfection and symmetry. That's how I decided on the number 9. And P being significant of myself, Penny,
Okay.
and the way in which I have chosen to deliver my services to my clients. Perfect, precise, and professional.
Yes.
So that is where the P fits into it.
Wow.
And obviously the power of the number 9 and the perfection of the number 9.
Wow, that is powerful. I've never, it seems so simple, but it is yet so powerful.
Yes, there is a meaning behind it.
Yes.
It wasn't just a thumbsuck.
Can you just take us through, your company's values and what you stand for?
Okay, so first of all, customer commitment. Develop relationships and make a positive difference to everybody we interact. Positively touch and enhance the lives of the people that we interact with, whether they're big, small, individuals, companies. So committed to positive interactions with all of our clients. Integrity and trust, especially for my line of business, that's a big one. Uphold the highest level of integrity, be trustworthy, and just make sure that all your interactions are always of a high level of integrity with everybody that you cross the path. Accountability is also a big one for us. We back up our words with an action. If we promise something, we act on it. Don't just talk and then don't deliver. So accountability, be held accountable for what you promise a person you are going to do. Equality, every client gets treated equally, whether they're big or whether they're small. If you sign up all your small companies in the beginning, when you get a big one, don't neglect them, don't push them to the back of the queue. They're paying the same fee for the same service. Make sure they are treated equally. And then for me, as you mentioned earlier on, it's passionate. Be passionate and convicted about what you choose to do. If you're not passionate and you don't have a love for your career path, you won't be successful, or certainly not as successful as you could be or should be. So be passionate, deliver with a heart to serve, and always try and have a positive impact on everybody you meet and touch the lives of people you meet. To me, they're a client. My client has a family. I make them happy, they make their family happy. It's a domino knock-on effect. So how you treat somebody filters through to how they in turn interact with somebody. So those are basically what we have chosen as our core values.
That's your values, all about the people.
Correct, correct. And deliver what you promise.
You stand on your promise.
Correct. Undersell and over-deliver. So often people oversell and they under-deliver, and that's what does your brand reputation damage. So for me, I will rather undersell and over-deliver and give my clients that wow factor and not be disappointed. I'd rather have them being surprised and wowed by their interaction with me than disappointed.
Wow. Can you just take us through the services that you are actually offering, that your company is offering?
So Nicole, primarily it's financial management, accounting, bookkeeping, payroll services, and payroll would include your EMP 201s, 501s, your RP5 certificates and all of that, your U-filing for UIF, submitting your declarations, all your tax services. Then anything to do with company registrations, company amendments, anything like that. But we do also have a whole host of other service offerings. We have quite a diverse service offering, and best for anybody that wants to know more is just to have a look at our website. There is more detail in that. But the main focus is your accounting, bookkeeping, tax, payroll services.
When you look for potential clients, how can they benefit from the services that you offer?
Okay, so when I look for potential, well, anybody is a potential client because everybody has a financial need. So what happens is people tend to register a company, and they wake up one day and they think, oh, I'm tired of working for a boss, I want my freedom, I'm going to register a company. They register a company, within 48 hours, they get their company registration documents, and they think, good, we're good to go, and off we go. I think 0.5% of those people bother to read the welcome letter they get from CIPC, which is the Commission for Intellectual Property. They don't read their Memorandum of Incorporation, which outlines the way they run their business, what their responsibilities are. The directors think they're just a director on a piece of paper. They don't read the Companies Act. They don't know what their duties and obligations are that have to be fulfilled according to law as being a director of a company. So anybody who doesn't understand what they are required to do by law, their compliance and the regulations they have to adhere to, is a potential client. People who don't have a basic knowledge of finances or accounting, you cannot run your business if you don't know what your numbers are telling you. That's like steering a ship in a storm and there's no lighthouse anywhere near. How do you know where you're going? Are you making a profit? Are you making a loss? Should you be closing your company? Should you be growing? The only way you know that is to look at your numbers, and that will tell you you're making a profit, you're making a loss. So there we can assist people. Anybody who needs to gain financial clarity of their business is a potential client. Anybody who finds they are spending too much time doing paperwork and admin work and it's not their forte, and they're not getting the time to go and sell and market themselves and market their own business, and not getting to the reason why they started their company. That's a potential client. That is why P9 Financial Intelligence is there. Hand us all your box of papers. Let us work through it. Let us do it and put it into some order for you on a monthly basis and send you your set of financials back, and you'll know exactly where you are.
Okay. Please tell us, ma'am, would you recommend basic accounting for entrepreneurs? And if so, why?
Nicole, absolutely. For me, that is a non-negotiable. It's one thing to be able to sell or have a product to sell. It's a different thing if you don't know what's going on in your business. And for fear of repetition, I come back to what I've just mentioned. You need to know your numbers. How do you know if you've been successful or not? So if you're not going to outsource the service to somebody who is qualified and a professional, it is essential you have at least the basic knowledge. A slightly better knowledge would really be advantageous to you in the long run, but it's not an option. It's not a nice to have. It's a necessity. And for any entrepreneur who starts out, I can only say that the return on the investment in getting the knowledge far outweighs the cost of not having the knowledge. And even if you do choose to outsource, as a director of a company, you are still responsible for what happens in your company, not your accounting or the accounting firm. So it is important that when you get your financials back from your accountant at the end of every month, you have the basic understanding of what they've put together for you, what those numbers look like, and you can question it and you can query it. Keep your finger on the pulse. It's vitally important. It really, it's not a negotiable, in my opinion.
Sure. You have been running the business, and can you just tell us that moment where, the moment that required growth, what that actually required, the most growth requiring moment in your business, in running your business?
Sure. Nicole, I honestly would have to say, building P9 from an absolute zero client base. In the global difficult times we have just embarked on in the past 12 months and envisage still continuing through for the next however many months. We're not going to just wake up in 6 months' time and be over this. Talk of the third wave. So really, I think the hardest thing is building from a zero base. It's not easy. Learning to sell with confidence, and we briefly touched on this prior to coming into the studio. If you're not a salesperson by nature, as an entrepreneur, you have to learn to sell. And if you're in a consultancy basis, you are the business, you are selling yourself. And it's a very difficult thing to do, to sell yourself if you're not good at selling altogether. So ignore the rejections. You're not everybody's cup of tea, and you shouldn't be, because anybody who takes you on as their preferred service provider, they should have a connection with you, because they are going to trust you with the heart of their business. Their finance is what pumps that business, and they're going to trust you. They have to have a connection with you. Not everybody's going to like you. You're not going to like everybody. If you get rejection, don't take it personally. And I used to in the beginning. I used to think, oh my word, why didn't they want to give me work? Don't take it personally. Get up tomorrow. Learn from the failure. Get up tomorrow and go back. Stand your feet on the ground when you get out of bed. Say, devil be gone. Today is mine. I'm owning it. And I'm going to go and knock doors down, and I'm going to get this work. I am going to get it. And I think the last point that was a growth point and difficult for me in the beginning was managing my finances and my time efficiently and effectively. And I say finances not because I can't manage finances, otherwise I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing.
Yes.
But when you start out, there's so many aspects of your business that cost money. Do you do business cards? You like those, but you can't afford those, so you're going to have to settle for these. Do I spend money on marketing, or do I market myself? So manage your finances. Put your money where you think you're going to get the best advantage. And as a newbie, you don't know that. So you learn by your mistakes. You learn as you go along. And manage your time efficiently and effectively. It's very easy to get caught up in noise and not actually, you're so busy, but at the end of the day, you've accomplished nothing. So those are some of the learning curves. And have a support structure. Have a mentor you can tap into when you get stuck. It's important to have a mentor.
Okay, ma'am. Can you just give us your company's growth prospects, for the future? What do you see for yourself, and where are you heading to?
So for me, our growth prospects is we are striving to be a prominent and preferred trusted business partner to our clients and their service provider for to oversee their financial requirements. And I say trusted business partner because even though you're outsourced and you're not their employee and sitting in their office, you are their trusted business partner. They are the one that you're the one they're going to come to. So that is really important for me, and to be able to provide a professional, cost-effective service to all individuals and SMEs. It shouldn't be a nice to have for them. They should all be able to afford what the law tells them they are required to do. And then the other one is more on a personal note, coming from where I come from. And it's more of a long-term vision, but I would like to grow the business to a point where I increase my own workforce. But ultimately where my passion lies is I want to be able to get to a point where I can offer learnerships or mentorship to the youth. There are so many underprivileged, less fortunate people out there that have left Matric. They didn't get the grades for university acceptance. Their families don't have money. They can't get student loans. They can't get bursaries. But they could very well be good at accounting. I would like to be able to eventually get my company to a point where I can take in those youths and I can offer them a mentorship process or program. Won't have a formal qualification at the end of it, but they'll have 12 months on hand-on experience working side by side with somebody who is suitably qualified. Because as we briefly chatted about earlier, companies want to employ a junior person and pay a junior salary, but they want a qualification and they want 5 years experience. Where are these kids meant to gain the experience? Nobody is willing to give them the opportunity because time is money. By giving their time to teach somebody, it's costing the company money. And that's how they look at it. They're putting a value on somebody's life. So that is ultimately my passion and one of the things I've always wanted to drive towards when I also decided to embark on this journey.
There that comes in again, you know, your heart for what you are doing, your heart for people, you know, especially for young people, because we spoke about that earlier, about the experience, and it honestly doesn't make sense, you know, for young people who just came out of university, college, to have experience. It doesn't make sense. So for you, being an experienced person in your field, to actually want to give back to the youth, you know, and I wish that someone, you know, the businesses can listen to this, what you are saying, because as young people and as those people that just came out of college, university, who doesn't have the experience, you know, to actually or the businesses actually give back to them.
Absolutely,
you know.
absolutely, and get over this greed for money.
Yeah.
And you know, the other aspect of that is people don't appreciate how demotivating it is for somebody who's either just come out of university, they've spent the last 4 years studying, it's cost a lot of money, or a matriculant who is capable and intelligent but doesn't have the opportunity. So they apply for job after job after job. We've got into this horrible rhythm where people don't even acknowledge an application of a CV or decline them. They just never hear back. It becomes so demoralizing and demotivating to them that eventually they take it personally and they look at themselves and saying, well, I'm no good. I'm of no worth. And what happens? They give up. They end up on the street, or they take to substance abuse or something like that. And the actions of the companies, they don't actually think through how it impacts a person's life. And this is where I'm hoping to fill a gap, is not let them go to the street and say, well, we'll take you in and we will teach you hands-on. It's one thing having the theory. I've met so many people who have, and I'm talking senior people, who have the theory. They cannot do the job. They cannot do the job because they've never done it practically. So that is an important one for me, and I pray that God has his hands on my business and I will get to that point where I can give back
Most
And
definitely.
I can share my knowledge, skill, expertise, and what I've learned through people many years ago who took the time to mentor me.
Sure. That is so touching and so, amazing to hear, that you're not, I can almost say, greedy. You're not worried only about yourself, but you want to empower the youth. You want to share what you have learned, over the years, all those years of experience. I mean, 30 years plus minus, I don't know how many years, but it's a lot of years.
And I know things that textbooks don't tell you or can't give you. But
Yes.
Nicole, it's important. If you look where our unemployment rate is sitting in South Africa as a whole, of which Eastern Cape is particularly bad, it's become critical, because if people aren't given this opportunity, what is going to happen to them? Where are we going as a metro?
Yeah.
It's important.
Sure. With that being said, with all this being said, can you just tell the listeners and the viewers how they can engage with you? Because we want to put your business out there and to let businesses hear that, so they can hear that, how they can get hold of you and to make use of your services. So can you just tell the listeners how they can engage and get hold of you?
With pleasure, Nicole. So I have many different forms of social media platforms out there. I always say I'm literally a phone call away, and that would always be my first choice. Pick up a phone and call me. It's always nice to hear a voice and not just read a text.
Yes.
We've become so online with everything. We lose our interpersonal skills. So a call would be great. If not, they can visit my website, which is www.p9fi.com, and it's letter P, number 9, F for Foxtrot, I for Indigo.com, or our business Facebook page, which is P9 Financial Intelligence. Or alternatively, I'm sure they can contact you wonderful people at Argop FM.
Yes.
And
yes.
you'd be able to put them in contact with me.
Most definitely. Okay, so ma'am, what the last parting words, do you have any words of encouragement for anyone who wants to also embark on a business similar to yours, or anyone who is out there who feels like they are in business but they are not moving anywhere, financially, and they feel overwhelmed? Can you just give us a word of encouragement for them?
Nicole, I think, if they get to a point where they're stuck, I'm a firm believer, go back to basics. Go back to the minimum. Start at the beginning, work through, and where you've gone wrong, the second time round will always become quite apparent to you. You will pick it up very quickly. Don't, as I said previously, don't take rejection personal. There's enough work for everybody. Get up the next day, stay motivated, continue knocking doors down, continue believing in yourself and selling yourself. It will come. Make sure you have a support structure or mentorship. It's very difficult when you're embarking on a new journey and you run into tough times and you have nobody to talk it through with. If you are in a relationship, or you're married and you have a wife, I strongly suggest you ensure that they are on board with your decision to begin with. Because it's a common saying, when financial difficulties come in the front door, love flies out the back door. So what happens to you in your business does filter through to your private life. Try and keep the work-life balance. It's hard. We work 24 hours a day, because if we don't, we're not making money. Try and keep the balance. Don't let it consume you. And just be honest and ethical. And it will come. Word of mouth is your best marketing tool out there. And the only way people are going to talk about you and your business and your service offerings is if you have given them that absolute wow factor. If they feel that what they've paid you for has added value and made their life easier, trust me, they're going to talk about you. I have a client that I took on at the end of last year, and he said to me the other day, and it was actually quite heartwarming for me to get feedback. He said to me, you know, Penny, I haven't played golf in over a year. And he said, since you've been on board, I am now able to go and play golf on a Saturday and a Sunday. I'm not sitting behind my computer emailing out tax invoices to clients and trying to figure out what's going on my bank statement. And he said to me, I can't explain to you what that's done for me in my life. You've given me freedom. I play golf. I'm not as stressed. My family sees a difference in me. And that's what we're there for. That's what you want to achieve for your clients. If you're not making that difference in their life, then they're probably paying you for a service that is not top-notch.
Wow. Okay, ma'am. You have said some, very inspiring things, very powerful. As you are sitting here, I'm looking at you and I'm seeing this powerful woman, so powerful.
Oh, thank you, Nicole.
And who has, she knows what she's doing. She knows where she's been. She knows where she is going, and she has a vision for the future. So from myself, from the Agape team, we just want to say all the best for the future. With your business, may it honestly grow, may God just bless it, to his full potential, because I believe that there's more to it, there's more to come. So may he bless you, may he keep you, and may you take you from strength to strength. And we just want to thank you for coming and sharing your story with us, your services, what you are doing, and the impact that you are making and still want to make, especially in the Eastern Cape. So we appreciate you for coming, and all the best with your business, and stay beautiful. Stay glowing. Yeah. You look so young, man. Has anyone ever told you that you look so young?
Oh, thank you, Nicole. Some days I don't feel it.
Yeah, so
Makeup is a wonderful thing, but some days the body does not lie, trust me.
yeah.
But Nicole, just from my side, to you and John, I thank you for the invite to be hosted on your show. It's been inspiring for me. It's so lovely to see the young team you have backing you, and following some of the interviews you do, and what you're doing for entrepreneurs and getting them out there. It really is inspiring, and it's fantastic, and I've enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed connecting with both of you on a personal level too. It's lovely to know the people behind the face. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and I really wish you people all the best in taking this show further.
Wow, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for those words. We truly appreciate it. Okay, so listeners and viewers, we've come to the end of amazing conversation with Penelope Camons from P9 Financial Intelligence Pty Limited, and amazing woman. I would honestly encourage you, businesses, those who are listening, those who are tuning in, make use of the services. If your business is struggling, if you need financial help, with your business, I believe strongly with the experience, that she has to back up, what she is doing, that she can help you with whatever you are currently facing or where you want to go with your business. So thank you very much for tuning in, and stay tuned for amazing content as always, amazing music, and I will be playing Thai tribute He Turned It. Okay, so stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay tuned for much more amazing content.